Hello, this is Old School with WhatTheBuck.net. Doing another training camp update. This is the day after our night practice. You guys saw the video from Raymond James Stadium, which was very awesome today. We had a quote-unquote VIP practice, and as a club seat holder, I got to go to that practice, which is another way that I get into a couple of extra practices every year. A couple of updates and sort of a continuing trend that we see so far in training camp. The offense absolutely ate the defense's lunch today at training camp. I was there with my buddy since I was about 4 years old, Brian, and we sat there and were kind of marveling at how well the offense was moving the ball up and down the field in the different drills. It wasn't just in the drills that were one-on-one drills. It was also in the 7-on-7, 9-on-7, 11-on-11s. Now, there was an injury to report. Weber, receiver, number 86, that people have been very excited about coming up, did go off the field on a cart. Looked like it may have been a hamstring. Came up limp. They took him off the field. Haven't heard any other reports. Hopefully he'll be fine. That was the only injury we saw on the field. Now, with other guys that had been nicked up before, McCoy was out there in pads, was working on the individual drills, and then went over with Brian Price and Andrew Economos over to the far field, which was actually field 1, and they were working on footwork drills and speed drills and those sorts of things, and then eventually went back in. There was no sign of Mike Williams, who apparently was under the weather today, nor of Kellen Winslow Jr., who was not out of practice, but I didn't get an update, and Daquan Bowers was not in pads. Luke Stocker still was not practicing, but when I saw him at the night practice the other night, he was off crutches, was moving around pretty well, and looked pretty good. Now, on to the actual practice itself. Early in camp, you heard me talking about how good the rookie defensive ends looked and how good the defensive tackles looked and how much pressure they were getting. Now, that's still the case once we get past the ones on the offensive line. Poor Josh Johnson would have been getting killed if we were in a real game. But the ones, especially the guys on the right-hand side, True Blood James Lee on the right tackle or Davin Joseph at the guard, those guys are absolutely stoning the defensive line. Now, in individual drills, every once in a while, an Adrian Claiborne or Kyle Moore or Mike Bennett will get through, but by and large, that offensive line's cohesion has shown through and continues to impress as they go practice after practice. Now, what that means is Josh Freeman's got time to throw the ball, and the one thing we're seeing is either our secondary or our back seven, for lack of a better way to describe them, our linebackers in secondary, are porous, which is certainly possible, or Josh Freeman's really freaking good because he is putting the ball wherever he wants to, and he is moving the ball down the field. Now, the concern I have is Josh Johnson, who I am a big fan of. I've liked him ever since we brought him in. He's a smart kid with an accurate arm, a stronger arm than people give him credit for, has been turning into captain checkdown once again. And I disagreed with Joe Buck's fan. I like Lee. He does a good job, but he thought that Josh had a great practice. Yeah, if your goal was to throw everything 10 yards and in, it was a great practice. But he had plenty of opportunities to throw the ball down the field, and he was not taking those opportunities, and this offense is sort of predicated on that. Even though it's a West Coast offense, it's modified. Coach Olson likes what Josh Freeman does, stretching the ball, stretching the field, looking downfield, either the seam routes or the nines on the side. He likes the quarterbacks to see those and take advantage of them, and Josh Johnson just doesn't do it. There was a perfect example when Keep Talib came out actually singing a little bit, hamming it up to the crowd. Preston Parker was out there. Talib jumped inside immediately, anticipating a post. Parker went ahead and broke off on a 9, was wide open, and Johnson saw him and then checked down to the crossing route rather than make the throw, which would have been an easy touchdown. The safety was late. Now, he did make a throw later in practice, I believe, to Ed Gant, my dark horse candidate, who was wide open on the left-hand side of the field. However, he did drop the ball, which sucked, but Ahmad Black was late coming over from safety help over the top. Other things in practice of note, Bradford's getting a few more touches. Lumpkin looked pretty good. He got eaten up the first time in one-on-one drills against Quincy Black, and then came back and absolutely stoned Adam Hayward, almost ripped his clothes off, though not in a hold, but it was a hell of a block. We got some pictures of that we'll put up. I didn't see anyone on the defensive side that really leapt out at me today having a great day, except for Darrell Smith, who's actually the third listed Mike, was really popping a lot in running 9-on-7s, was all running back drills. He was in there plugging the hole very well. On offense, really all the skill positions that were out there look good. With no Mike Williams, we didn't seem to miss a beat. You saw Sammy Strouder had a nice practice. I think Aurelius Bent had a nice practice as well. On the tight end side, everyone's just sort of nondescript once you get past Stocker and Kellen Winslow, Ryan Purvis, and those guys, all functional, but no one really leapt out. Ernest Graham had a good practice, and Lumpkin seems to be getting those touches. I think we're going to get a good look at guys like Lumpkin and Bradford as we go through the preseason to make that decision on that last back. At any rate, that was sort of a very lengthy review of practice today. I think I'll be out again tomorrow. I'll update that, and we'll let you guys know what's going on. We'll get some more pictures up tonight. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think about the video.